Hey y'all, we're Alec and Cindy and we're sharing the journey. We're headed back up to Bozeman. This will probably be our last time this season going up to go grocery shopping. We leave Montana in 2 weeks, headed to Texas. But what we want to talk about today is living your life and not to get caught up in worldly things, and our plans to take Social Security at 62 and what that looks like with our work camping adventure. So right now I'm going to start off with I retired when I was 50 from a small southern police department. So I do have a little bit of a pension. It's enough to pay the motorhome payment and the Jeep. So we've got a leg up there that a lot of people don't have, and we understand that. But we started a highly successful PI business that during COVID I ended up selling for pennies on the dollar just to get out from underneath it, because we were on the road and we had family running it. But we owned a private investigations firm for a couple of years, and I'm going to tell you, we had never made so much money in our life.
Or worked as hard.
Or that's what I was going to say. Or worked as hard. We worked Thanksgiving, we worked Christmas, we worked basically 7 days a week, 24 hours a day for several years. And that's what ultimately, that and becoming empty nesters, made us decide that fame and fortune was not worth all the stress, the toil and turmoil or torment that we experienced in running a successful family business. So we hit the road, and I had grand dreams that my tiny little pension from South Carolina would pay all our needs and that we would be able just to travel and do what we wanted to do. Is that how it worked out?
Well, what people don't understand is they think, oh, get a camper, let's go full-time RV living. We do a lot of boondocking when we're traveling from one place to another.
And boondocking is staying for free in a parking lot or on public land on the side of the river.
Exactly. There's lots of places you can do it. There's some places you can't do it. You may have seen in some of our videos where we stop at Cracker Barrels overnight. Some states you can stop in a rest area. Alec was very nervous about doing that at first.
Yes. I like my electricity.
But we bought the camper that we have with the features that we needed, so that if we wanted to do that, we could. Now that I finally talked him into doing it, that's the only way he wants to travel.
I don't want to pay. Find me free 99. But so we figured out that
the most expensive, where I was getting to, which Alex says I take a long time to get to my point. What I was getting to is the most expensive part about traveling, RV traveling and being on the road, is a place to park it, a place to stay. Like at a campground. I mean,
the KOA we're working at right now, some of the sites are $168 a night.
It's expensive to stay at camping campgrounds if that's the kind of camping you're going to do. But you'll have to have a tow vehicle or a small van that you can take into town to go grocery shopping, or you can take to go see the Grand Canyon or Yellowstone or Glacier or Needles Highway, or
So we figured out that we still had to work, and that's why we started work camping. And the best thing we like about work camping is it's low stress, and we get to stay for free or virtually free for months on end while we're exploring an area. But we didn't go on this adventure to work all the time. Actually, our next camp job, we'll be taking some time off, and it looks like instead of working 5 days a week like we're doing now, we're only gonna be working 4 days a week. So we'll be working like 27 to 32 hours. We're not gonna make as much money, but we're gonna have more downtime. And that's what made us decide to take our Social Security at 62. Now, we've still got 3.5 years. We're going to be working both seasons for the next 3.5 years. But we have time to prepare for the little bit of a pay cut of switching to Social Security. So what we've been doing is we've been working diligently in paying off our debt. We've been here for 5.5 months. I've been able to get 10 months ahead on the Jeep payment.
Well, we started some of that when we were in Minnesota too.
Okay, but in less than a year, we've gotten 10 months ahead on the Jeep. We still owe buku money on the Jeep. I couldn't imagine if we bought this new.
Right.
But then the only bill we'll have after that is the motorhome, and we can start putting the Jeep money on the motorhome. But as we reduce our monthly, we should be able to work less and survive on less. So the long-term plan right now, short-term plan, keep doing what we're doing. Work camping every season, paying off debt as fast as we can.
And saving money
and enjoying life. Now, one thing we realized when we were empty nesters is we were working all the time because we had the time because the kids weren't there anymore. But we were not enjoying life.
No.
So we hit the road. We're enjoying life, but we think we can enjoy life more. And that's where I know it's not free money, but getting that free money from Social Security. Now, I've had people tell me that, you want to wait till you're max out on your Social Security. Well, you've also got to look at what your quality of life is worth. I know that between 55 and 58, I feel a lot different. I talk to people that are 60 when they were 62 and they took Social Security, and they're glad they did because they're 67, 68 now, and they've had medical problems pop up. They don't have the energy, the will, or the stamina to do the stuff that they want to do. And we were just talking before we hit record on the video is that we don't know. Tomorrow's not promised.
That's right.
We were just talking about, we've got a friend that is a little bit older than us, and they are still working, and they're in their 60s, later 60s, closing in on 70s, but later 60s, and now they're having medical problems that they would have never thought that they would have. What is it my dad always says? Tomorrow is not promised. We watch a guy on YouTube that says, we got less runway in front of us than we got behind us. You know, our lives are coming to an end. And hopefully we got another good 20 years in us. But I don't know if we've got 20 healthy years.
Well, my thing is, you don't know what your health is going to do. You don't know. You could fall and break your leg or break an arm, and it could change your lifestyle forever. You know, you may not have the mobility that you had before. I'm so tired of everybody trying to keep up with the Joneses. We got to have the latest and greatest in the internet. We've got to have the latest, greatest cell phone. We've got to have this. We've got to have that. We've got to have the biggest house. I probably have the smallest house of any of y'all listening to this. But
320 square feet.
But we're happy, we're self-sufficient, we're living our life on our terms, not somebody else's. We're not getting rich. We don't want to get rich. We just want to have a good life. And we want to see this beautiful country that God has created.
So we understand that if we take our Social Security at 62, that it's going to limit us in the amount of money we can make monthly. But that's one of the great things about work camping. I was looking through the jobs the other day, and there are a number of jobs that are like work 2 days a week for your site, and then you can work another day for pay, and you're just working 3 days a week. Your site money's not going towards the $1,400 or whatever it is you can make a month when you're 62 and on Social Security. You're working 1 or 2 days a week, making $100, $200 a week, way under what the Social Security threshold is. But you've got all this time for adventure. You've got your Social Security check. You don't have any housing per se because you're staying at the campground working off your electric, your water, your cable, and your site. And Uncle Sam's not punishing you for it. And so now you're in a beautiful place. You've got, let's just say, 4 days a week to go out and live life and to be all you can be for the adventure. So I think that's where we're headed. 3.5 years, we'll file for Social Security. We'll start working these jobs that just want you to pay for your site for like 1 season. We may still work a full season so that we're making some money to have spare money with, savings and that sort of stuff. And then the ultimate goal is to have enough set aside to where we can find a permanent site in an RV park somewhere that we have a home base to go back to. Like we've been looking, my parents live in the Hilton Head area. They don't live on the island, but we were looking at a permanent spot on Hilton Head Island in the harbor. You can get them for $80,000, $85,000. And when you're not there, when you're out doing other adventures, you can rent the spots out so you have a little bit of income from that. But that's the ultimate goal. But the short-term goal is go ahead and collect the money and live our lives.
Exactly. Now, one thing that has been brought to our attention, because we have a good many friends that are older than us, that just seems to be the people we get along with the best.
Seasoned seniors.
There you go. Which we are becoming quickly.
Yes, no gray hair yet, but I think
Really?
I'm going to have gray hair soon.
Really? Did you go from brown to blonde?
Yeah, that's
Is that
it.
what you're calling it? But one thing to think of is you either need to have a savings to put a down payment on something like that, because your credit history is not going to
I didn't
be
even think about that.
what it is now when you go to purchase a piece of property or a spot at a campground or something like that. So we're thinking ahead, because we either need to purchase it before we start taking Social Security, or we need to know that we have our down payment in cash to put down on it so that we can afford it. Because the banks are going to think you can't afford it.
Right. So I'll give you a little insight on how we're preparing. Is we are paying an extra car or an extra car and a half payment every month. So we try to make a $350 to $500 extra car payment every month. The payment on this is like $392 or something. So we try to do that every month. So we are getting ahead. We're making our car payment. We're making another payment and a half. So we're getting ahead, and that's principal only. And then in our investment account, we are trying to save $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. And we're trying to do that in our regular savings account also. So that in 3 years or 4 years, if we decide to buy one of these spots, so we have a landing place, a place to winter and be near family, we'll have 40 or 50% to put down if we want to. We may not even do that. I met a full-time RV work camper in town in West Yellowstone, working at one of the shops there. That's what their plan was to do, and then they found these ranches in Arizona where you can $1,400 a year is what the space costs plus your electricity. And so they've just done a long-term lease on a place. They pay $1,400 a year. If you stay there 1 month, you've made your money back. So they go for 2 or 3 months, recharge their batteries, and then
they can go whenever they want to during the year.
Right. Now, summer in Arizona is not what I want to do.
Well, no.
But, so hopefully when we're down in Texas, there's a couple places we'll take and go through those that, there's like Rockport Oaks and a couple other places near where we'll be working that offer spaces for purchase. We'll just go see what it costs and take a look at it. If not, we can continue the lifestyle that we're in now. We can take our Social Security at 62. We can slow way down and enjoy our lives a lot more.
And we didn't even know that lease thing was an option.
Yeah, until
we met this couple.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to meet people, talk with them. You don't know what other people are doing. You don't know everything that's out there. But at least ask the question. What do y'all do in the winter? Where do y'all go for the winter? We were shopping in the store, and
I think it was a gym store, wasn't it? Gym and rocks and stuff.
I think so. And Alec just asked the couple, do y'all live in town? No, we come down here every summer and work in one of the shops. That's what they like to do. I don't know if that's what I would like to do, but that's what they like to do. And it's very low stress. And Alex said, well, where do y'all stay when you're here? You know, just simple conversation, you find out good information. Some couples live in a house in the winter and come here and live in an apartment or something while they work. People do it different ways. I think it's important to stay healthy, B, to get out and move and live life. We love to hike.
I tell people we're the fattest healthy people you know. We're not on any medicines, anything like that. We don't go to the doctors hardly ever unless something really bad is going on. We just enjoy our lives and
live simple.
That was the biggest thing that we had to change from. I mean, at one time we had 5 cars in our driveway.
Well, we had 6 kids too.
But still, we had 5 cars in our driveway. 3 of them were ours, and 2 were the kids' cars. But now we have 1 car, and we have our motorhome. Do you know how much time I spent taking care of a 2,500 square foot house and acres and acres and acres of grass, 3 outbuildings, a pond, all that stuff? It took all my energy. I was either working or I was at home working. And we don't want to live that way anymore. Now we're in just a beautiful spot every time we turn around. Let me turn the camera around real quick. This is what we're experiencing. We would have never been able to experience all this beauty back home.
Unless you went on vacation for a week or two.
Right. This is not vacation.
This is every day.
This is our life. This winter, we'll be showing you pictures of the Gulf of Mexico, because that's going to be our life. And we're going to have more time off. We're not going to be making as much money, but we're going to be enjoying our life more. And it's not about how much money you can make. It's what you do with your life. It's with the experiences. It's with your family. Now we plan on coming back up here next summer, but then we're going to try to figure out how to take 2 or 3 months off to go home and see our kids and to see my parents, who are closing in on 80 years old, and be with them too, because we understand that is an important part of life too. When we had a man tell us about 4 years ago down in Florida, we were having one of our children was angry that we were hitting the road and not going to be available for them when they need us to do things or provide money or babysitting or whatever that particular child or that particular town needed. And what do you remember what the man said in Florida? He said, "This is what I told my kids," because I had one child that was angry too. He said, "I spent the first 20 years of my life making sure my parents were happy with me and my behavior and my activities. Then," he said, he told his son, "I spent the next 30 years making sure you and your siblings were taken care of and were happy. So the first 20 I was working for my parents. The second half of my life, or the second part of my life, the next 30 years I was working for my kids and my family." He goes, "I'll be damn sure the last 20 are going to be to make me happy." And that's what we're doing. We're happy. We got married, hit the ground running, taking care of other people, taking care of grandparents, taking care of Cindy's parents who couldn't take care of themselves. Heck, when I got married, I found out all of a sudden I inherited my father-in-law's car payment. Not because he was a bad man, he just couldn't make it. And he needed a car. And my wife is such a loving person that at 20 years old, she bought her parents a car.
Well, I worked at the bank and I got them the loan and I just paid the car payment.
Right. So we hit the ground running at 20 years old, 20 and 21, taking care of other people, and now we're taking care of ourselves. So I know this has been some rambling. We don't script out our videos.
We had children early, which not everybody does. I've seen a lot of young people who are on the road now doing full-time RV living, and they're living their life in the beginning and not waiting till the end.
So
they're doing all their adventures now, and then I'm sure at some point they'll settle down, have families, children, and all that. But man, the stories they're going to have to tell.
So I encourage you to stop waiting to live your life. I don't care if the Joneses have a 3,000 square feet house. You don't need it. Quit putting all that stress on yourselves. Start getting your bills under control so that when you get our age, you can enjoy your life. You can have plans. You can have a future that makes you smile and not that makes you full of regrets. So that's all we're going to say today on the subject. We want to encourage you to find your inner peace and to live your best life.
That's right.
Happy camping. Stay safe.